Obinna Clement was a shy and quiet boy that everyone thought was dull and useless, especially his teacher, Mrs. Ekutos. No day passes that she didn't humiliate him in front of the class. At St. Martin's Primary School, the noises of children chatting in the classroom could be heard. Obinna Clement, a young boy around 10, sits at the back of the class with his head down and fingers trembling. His notebook is completely empty. Miss Ekutos, stern and elegant, paces the front of the class with a ruler in her hand. Her voice slices the air. Obinna Clement, stand up and read line 4 for the class. Miss Ekutos snapped at the little boy. Obinna rises slowly, his voice shaky and unstable. The boy was... Miss Ekutos immediately lets out a big sigh. A grin forms at the temple of her forehead. The boy was what? Sit down there. You're a very big disgrace. A complete waste of school fees. She speaks with a prick of anger in her voice. Laughter erupts from his classmates. Obinna shrinks and blinks back in tears. Even a goat would have learnt this by now. Dullard, come on, sit down there, Miss Ekutos added. In the staff room, Miss Ekutos is seen chatting out loud with a fellow female teacher. That boy called Obinna. He doesn't know anything. I don't know why his parents are wasting money to send him to school. He can't even form a sentence without stuttering. In Obinna's bedroom, a flaking kerosene lantern casts golden light on the cracked walls. On the floor sits young Obinna, barefoot, focused, scribbling organs and bones on a tall notebook. A faded science textbook lies open beside him. He draws on his wall with chalk diagrams of bones, heart and eyes, his own little world. A tattered science book lies beside him. He murmurs under his breath. Femur, humerus, pulmonary vein. Obinna's eyes glow with passion despite the pain of the day. His mother, Inenna, walks in from the kitchen, wiping her hands on a cloth. She stared at her son drawing a human heart with shaky fingers. She kneels beside him, looking at the old notebook by his side. You have been drawing this same thing for days. What is this now? Kidney or lungs? She asks in a calm and steady voice. Obinna stopped drawing and replies his mother. The heart, mommy. Left ventricle, right atrium. Inenna smiles faintly and reaches into her wrapper and pulls out a tiny second-hand medical chart she found at the market. She hands it over to her son. Here, take this. The man selling onions had it in a pile of old books. I told him I needed it more than he did, Inenna said to her son. Obinna's face lightens up. Thank you, mommy, he said, gently collecting the chart from his mother. Then she strokes his cheek gently. Still inside the room, a young man called Ebuka, that is Obinna's father, sits at the edge of a thin mattress. He involves his wife in an intimate discussion. Today at the market, they laughed at me. Mr. Ebuka began. They say that I am wasting money buying books for our son that can't even read aloud. He speaks quietly in a low voice. Let them laugh. What do they know? Our son doesn't need to shout to be great. Inenna muttered, her voice loud and soft like fresh baked bread. Ebuka nodded slowly, picks up the kerosene lamp and heads back into the main room. Many years later, at the entrance of the great city specialist hospital, inside the wardroom lies Miss Ekutos, who is now in her 50s. She looks a bit frail and thin. She lies on the hospital bed, clutching onto her stomach, clearing in pain. Then a nurse enters. "Madam, your doctor will be due shortly. You are lucky. He is the best we have. He even performs surgeries abroad," she said and dashed out of the room. The woman nods weakly, then closed her eyes. Some moments later, a tall man walks confidently down the corridor. He wears a clean white coat with a calm presence. His ID badge glints. He stops at the chat outside the woman's door with a tired look. Then he quietly opens the door and struts in. "Good morning, ma. I am Dr. Obinna Clement, your attending physician. What seems to be the problem?" He speaks, his voice deep but clear. Miss Ekutos stares vividly at the young man in front of her. The air stills for a while. Miss Ekutos' mind travels back to 20 years ago at St. Martin's Primary School. "No, it can't be. Obinna Clement," she whispers to herself. Obinna stares back, calm and composed. "Yes, it is me," he responded sharply. There was a long silence. Miss Ekutos stuttered a bit. I am sorry. I didn't know you. How are you here?" she asked in a shocked manner. A wry smile clouded Obinna's lips. "I work here," he began. "Life actually gave me a second chance," he said without a flinch in his voice. He was no longer that shy little boy. Silence took over the entire place once more. Miss Ekutos turned her face away, feeling ashamed. Then she speaks quietly. "I treated you horribly. I thought you'd never amount to anything," she said with a trembling and unstable voice. Obinna smiled softly, gradually building his thoughts. Then he looked up to her and said, "Many did, but your words, they pushed me. They hurt me, but I buried myself studying science books, not to prove you wrong, but to give myself a chance." Miss Ekuto asked with teary eyes, "Do you hate me? I feel so ashamed talking to you now," she murmured, her voice shaky and unstable. Obinna glanced at his teacher for a while and responded, "No, ma. I have forgiven you a long time ago, and today I will be the one to treat you," he said, staring deeply at his teacher. Miss Ekutos immediately breaks down as she heard these words. Her voice cracked with guilt. "I am sorry, Obinna. I am truly sorry. I don't deserve your kindness," she blurted out loud. Obinna shook his head, feeling great pity for his teacher. "Everyone makes mistakes and deserves a second chance to make it better," he muttered under his breath. Later that night, Miss Ekutos laid quietly on the bed while Obinna examines her. Before he leaves, she grabbed him by the hand and said, "I am glad that you chose the right path for yourself." Obinna nodded gently and uttered a word. "Thank you, ma," he said and walked out of the room. A boy who they once called useless is now saving lives. Moral of this story: be kind to everyone. We rise by lifting others, not downgrading them. Words can either build or destroy, so choose wisely. Please like, comment and subscribe to my channel for more African true stories. Thank you.